In this weapon shop, Mark was picking out his ideal great sword. However, every time he touched a sword, he was struck by a powerful electric shock. He then picked up another sword, and was immediately paralyzed by the electric shock. Mark had just been summoned to this world as a hero, but his designated equipment was a shield, which meant he couldn't wield any other weapon. Reluctantly, Mark bought a set of protective gear, and started fighting monsters with his companions. But since Mark could only use a shield, even fighting small monsters was much harder for him. Thankfully, the shield had defensive capabilities, so the small monsters generally couldn't harm him. Mark used the shield to absorb the remnants of the monsters, which allowed him to unlock new skills. As evening approached, Mark bought a full set of gear for his companions. Then they went to a place to eat, and Mary invited Mark to drink, but Mark refused and went back to his room to sleep. When Mark woke up again, he found that all of his belongings had disappeared. He rushed to Mary's room, but the next moment, soldiers seized him. He was taken to the king for judgment. Mary claimed that after Mark got drunk, he tried to force himself on her. Luckily, Porter from next door had helped her, so Mark was able to maintain his innocence. Porter even said, "Had it not been for Mary's persuasion, I would have killed Mark last night." Mark then realized he had been framed. The protective gear Mark had bought was now being worn by Porter. The soldiers also presented evidence they found in Mark's room, and everyone believed Mary's story.
マイン、なんでお前そんなこと。俺たち仲間じゃ。
Mark began to turn darker, releasing immense energy. He easily broke free from the soldiers' restraints. However, since Mark was a hero, the king didn't plan to execute him. Instead, he intended to tell the world about Mark's behavior. As he was leaving, Mark threw the last of his silver coins at Mary. Porter immediately grabbed Mark, but Mark glared at him with cold eyes. Porter was stunned, unable to look away as Mark walked out.